All right. Welcome in to the Hoops Rehab show. How you doing, Emac? We got a big show ahead of us today.
Doing pretty good. I think you can't see it, but can you see it? Got my Mamba.
There
it is.
Kind of
see it.
Okay.
Mamba shirt.
I gotcha. Well,
strategic on that one.
We're talking about Bam Adebayo, 83 points.
There it is.
I know you're going to be talking about Kobe. We're going to hit up the Lakers, talk about their success with Luka and AR without LeBron. And then we got a big Steph Curry update. But before we get started, if you're watching us on YouTube right now, please hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment. We'll kind of get to those when we can. You can also follow us on wherever you get your podcasts. So if that's Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you do, it's the Hoops Rehab Show. Please hit the follow, subscribe on there as well, and drop a rating and a comment. That'd be greatly appreciated. But Eric, you ready to get this cracking?
Let's get it.
All right. So obviously, first things first, we got somebody that I never in my wildest dream expected to pass Kobe on the individual season scoring mark. Like I never thought in one game Bam would get 83 points. So, Eric, what was your initial reaction to that?
I first off, I thought after obviously the Lakers beating Minnesota again without LeBron, that all the talk would be all about today as far as like sports media. Are the Lakers better without LeBron? I thought it was going to be all that. I was just figuring, and then obviously with Bam Adebayo, it's a huge night. At least for LeBron, it's taking a little bit of the shine away in terms of that conversation. And so I guess before I get into it, I'm kind of curious. I'll kind of throw it back at you and I can kind of talk as well. Like, what were your thoughts? Like, when did you find out that he was having a big game? Like, what were you able to watch it all? Like, what was going on for you yesterday? And I can kind of get into what was going on for me, and then we'll obviously break it down.
Yeah, I was literally like driving home and I kept seeing like notifications like Bam's on fire, Bam's doing this. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe getting a career high, or what's he got, like 40, he's having a nice game.
Yeah.
And it just keeps on piling up, right? Like X is throwing me stuff. I got people on other messengers. I'm in a fantasy basketball league. That's popping off.
Oh, okay.
Like, okay, let me go check the box score. So when I checked the box score, he had, what was it? I think he had 70 points at that point, and I was like, "Oh, like, damn,
like you texted me. I'll look back. I know you texted.
I was like, or was it 60s? I can't remember when I kind of saw the box score, but it was something pretty damn significant. And my first thought was there ain't no way in hell he's
70
scored
points.
70 points, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So then I couldn't get the feed, so I started watching it on NBA TV, which they were just like, they weren't showing the footage, but they had Rudy Gay and Chris Haynes, like they were like going all over the place. Like, I can't believe this.
Yeah.
And so like I kind of followed through their updated box score, was kind of trying to get highlights and things like that. Then I was like, man, he had 70 points and it had 9 minutes left in the game. So I'm texting you like, no, he can't break Kobe's record. We can't do this right now. But the reality was, if you got 9 minutes to go in a game and you have 70, you bet your bottom dollar you're going for the damn record, or, past Kobe. You're not going to get Wilt's, but you're going to try to pass Kobe's record and things like that. So I thought that was pretty amazing. Now, when they started slowing down the game and they're fouling, and I'm kind of like reading up on some of that stuff. Oh, they're fouling on these possessions, getting the free throw line all the time. I'm like, damn, he made 36 free throws, like the NBA's best amount of free throws ever, right? So I can understand some critics, but I will say, Eric, to you, I would say Bam's performance last night was a better performance than Kobe Bryant. Kobe is my guy. The Lakers are my team. But what Bam did last night outweighs what Kobe did. Number one, he's a big guy. He's a center. He's not a point guard. He's not dribbling the ball up all the time. He's not demanding the ball all the time, right? So he has to get people to pass on the ball. So obviously in the first quarter, he went for 30. Like he felt like he was hot. That's why he's popping up on all those threes. He's kind of getting the ball, rolling to the rim, getting to the basket, dunking on people. So he knew at that point he was pretty hot. But again, he's not a guard. And I think it's so much harder for a big to get the ball. So I think in that way, that's what makes it better. What do you say, Eric?
So the reason I asked like kind of what you were doing, because it's like I figure everybody was kind of doing similar things. Like we're not like tied to a Miami Heat and Washington Wizards game. And it's kind of crazy that it happened like basically a little over almost like 20 years to the date and month, right? So it happened in January of 06. And I recall, I think we were like living together in an apartment, and I remember us watching it. It was like a Sunday night game. Obviously because they're wearing the whites. And so like I'm kind of curious if it's something like in 20 years, we're going to remember exactly kind of where we were and things like that. So, okay. I'll
say this was the greatest performance. Like I would say Bam's performance is better, but I will always remember Kobe's performance. Cause like I could tell you where we were, but I was driving down from Palmdale. I called my dad cause I thought my dad was at the game. Because he has tickets, and my dad is like, "No, I'm at the movies."
Yeah, I remember that. See?
I said, "Man, like Dad, if you would have told me this, I would have been at the game." But anyways, that's one of those things. But I don't think it'll have that impact. But I think it'll have that impact for Miami Heat fans. Like if you're a Miami Heat fan, this for sure will. Because I mean, he passed LeBron's career high by like what? 22 points. I think LeBron's at 61 or 62, something like that.
That was like the Miami record, right? At that point, Miami.
So he has Miami career record. You know, this is a guy that is he averaging 19 points on the season, 19.8. Like he's not known for being a high scorer. He's an efficient scorer. He's a great big, and he's an all around great player. But he wasn't even an all-star this year.
Yeah, and I appreciate your obviously your thoughts on it being as impressive. I just can't go that route, and I'll tell you why. So, when the Lakers were in this game in 2006, and obviously we know as like huge Laker fans, huge Kobe fans, like we got to be honest, like him kind of like passing away and things like that tragically, we kind of hold this like moment and record really tight. And so for you to say obviously that is like you mean it, because I know it was kind of tough for us to watch. But so with Kobe, the Lakers were in a real competitive game. I think we saw they were down about 16 in the halftime of that game, and I think they were up 6 or so going into the fourth. From what I recall, a lot of those points were actually needed. Granted, the last 7 minutes of the Kobe game, I think he was the only one to take a shot. So I understand there's going to be some of the shenanigans, if you will. Like if you're going to get like 70, 80, 90, even 60 points, there's going to be like some of that like unorthodox type of like scoring, right? Or way to get points. For sure. My thing, and I could have sworn that Miami was up like 30 going into the fourth last night. Yeah. I think we looked before the show. They were only down 16. Yep. So and they're in a playoff race. I think they're in the playoff. Now they're the 16.
They're in the playoff. They've won like 6 in a row or so.
They're trying to get wins. Like 100% they're trying to get wins. And so I do not fault him being in there the fourth, him realizing he's probably never going to get there again. Hell, Kobe never got anywhere near 81 after going for 81, right? So it's unprecedented. But what really got me, and what I didn't realize, because I unfortunately wasn't able to watch it, so I was like in a situation where I was literally following it like on ESPN, the app, and so I didn't realize that Miami was fouling Washington so that no time would go off the clock. I remember seeing Washington. I kept seeing Washington go to the foul line, and I'm just like, I was oblivious to it. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Yeah. But that's like, I'm cool with keeping him in the game. I'm cool with him taking shots. Like, obviously, like if he's in the game, why is he like, what are they going to do? Run like their normal offense? But my thing is, the reason why it's a little bit tainted, or a lot of bit tainted, in my opinion, is they were literally like fouling to stop the clock, have Washington shoot, and just really kind of non-organically, make more time for him. And so I think it would have been so cool. Bam has no, like, there's nothing that says he had to like match 81. And I don't know how, what he feels about Kobe. And I know if it was like maybe Jason Tatum or something like that, it would be different. I just threw a name out there because I know he's
big Kobe guy.
Yeah, big Kobe guy. But like, wouldn't have been something else like tying Kobe's record. And it happened. They tied. They fouled on purpose. And the Washington Wizards announcers even said, "Isn't that amazing? He tied Kobe's record." Like, they stopped the clock. They're about to take him out. Like, it was like set up. And then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, no, wait, he's still in there." Okay. So that was like, I think it would have been a perfect moment, but I can't fault the guy. I just didn't like the way he got from like 70 to 83. Let's just say.
Yeah. I'll give you that. I'll give you the fouls I didn't like down the stretch. But let me ask you something. You really think Kobe, the competitor that he is and was, would not want Bam to pass him if he had the opportunity?
Yeah, probably not. I mean, probably I think all records are meant to be broken. I don't mean to be this get off my lawn kind of guy and like an old head. Like, as you noticed, I didn't really go in too hard like some people today did. No, I think records are meant to be broken. I just feel, like I said, it kind of happened in an interesting, weird way. But yeah, Kobe would probably be cheering from up above.
Yeah, I mean, I thought maybe he would. Like, I was thinking like that would be a cool thing to like just be like, all right, get the standing O. You got 81 points, but. Man, like when you're never going to come that close again.
Yeah, he doesn't owe it to him or anything. I just thought it would be a cool moment.
Yeah, it would be cool, right? But I just don't think it was like if you're right there. Like, you're never going to get there again. It's just one of those things where it's like, hey, you're going to go for it at that point. I mean, especially when he had 70 at like 9 minutes. I mean, that was like when you're already like knew like this is going to get close. And I will say, like, whenever somebody's doing this, right, when you think about Kobe's last game, I mean, how many shots did he take and how many times did they force feed him the ball, right, to get to the 60? He was obviously pretty exhausted. So any of those type of games, they're going to be feeding them, right? There's not many games I can, like, think of that, like, maybe the Klay Thompson game where he, like, literally, what is it? He had less than 13 dribbles or something like that.
He made 14 threes and he had like 60 something going into the fourth.
Going into fourth, didn't play the fourth, right?
Didn't play the fourth. Same as Kobe, which I'll get into.
To me, that was the most efficient game I have ever witnessed ever. Like, because he was literally on fire, never dribbled the ball, caught every jump shot and made every jump shot. And like, I don't know how many times he even got fouled. Like, if I had to look at those stats, like, you got them in front of you right now?
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at it. So he shot 21 from 30 for 33, 8. No, wait a second. Hold on. I thought he had. Okay. I was kind of listening to the ESPN guys in the morning, but they were kind of probably screwing up. So basically, yeah. So it wasn't the game that he had the 14 threes, but he was 21 for 33. He made 8 out of 14 from 3, 10 out of 11 from free throws. So he only played 29 minutes.
29 minutes.
Yeah, it was against Indiana, and they were obviously up kind of big going into the fourth. I think about 30 or so. So it was 26.
He had how much total? 60.
60 points.
Gosh.
Yeah.
60 points in 29 minutes. Like, if he would have played another fourth, I mean, he likely would have challenged that 80. Like, he probably would have got 80 at that point, right? Just the way he was on fire. But like, to me, that is the most efficient 60 or like most prolific kind of scoring ever, because that is super hard to do as a guard, right? To be able to just make most of your shots, from 3, from 2, from free throw, and literally it was like less than 13 dribbles or something like that. So to me, that was probably one of the all-time kind of performances. Now, I know you wanted to get into Kobe's performance against Dallas, because that's another one that's up there.
Yeah. I was kind of looking. I mean, so because I recall it, I just didn't remember exactly how much they were up. So I was thinking like, okay, well, Kobe had 62 going into, like, it was like Kobe had 62 and Dallas had 61 points. That's always like a thing they say. And obviously, same as Klay, if he would have played the fourth, he probably could have got to that high 70, low 80s range, but they sat him. They were up over 30 points. As I mentioned earlier, Miami was only up 16. So it's a big difference there.
Yeah.
And same with Clay in Indiana. I was kind of looking, I forgot like Devin Booker had 70 in a game. I think Luka as well,
that was the one
right?
against Boston, right?
Against Boston. I think,
Yep.
I think that one, he kind of played most of the game. I don't think it was like, I don't want to like misspeak, but, but yeah, these things like don't happen very often. So like, I do understand it's like for Bam Adebayo, it's like, he is like on the map now. And there's people like half of it's polarizing, right? This moment's polarizing. People are like hating Miami right now and the Heat.
Yeah.
And obviously people from Miami and people that like don't care, right? Or not that they don't care, but they're happy that it happened. And so I wonder, do you think if, and Bam Adebayo is obviously like he's been in the All-Star game. He's obviously a gold medal winner in the Olympics. Obviously a real solid player. Do you think if it were Wemby, for example, or SGA, something to that effect, would the sentiment be the same? If it was like the exact same thing?
There wouldn't be as much hate. Like I think like people will see it as like Bam is a great player, but I wouldn't categorize him as a superstar.
Right.
And so like I think people are saying like, wow, like he's not even a superstar, he's not even an all-star this year, and he got 83 points, right? Yeah. So I think that brings it down, unfortunately. Now if it's SGA, you had Luka, Wemby, any of those guys, obviously it'd be like the craze. This was still like big news and everything, but it would just be amplified by at least 10-fold, right? If it was one of those guys.
I agree. Yeah, because something about like towards the end, like kind of like think about like Kobe's last game that he played. It was like all those like crazy jumpers, right? And because we didn't get that, it was like fouls and free throws.
Yeah.
It was like it. That's kind of what I'll like remember it for. Look, like the modern era record, was 81. Obviously, Will got 100. We have no video evidence of it. I'm sorry, not like evidence in terms of like it didn't happen, but like we don't know how it happened. Right. But yeah, I think I agree. I think if it was someone else, we wouldn't kind of hear like the uproar. But I think also we just probably shouldn't be so uptight about it. It's like,
nobody's what it 83 is. Points.
It's 83 points. Like we'll all move on. We'll all probably not forget about it tomorrow. But it's just like, hey, I'll be thinking about like Lakers and Bulls better beat Chicago, right? Coming up. But yeah, obviously a crazy moment, monumental. The Kobe thing happened 20 years ago, so it tells you that these things don't happen every night. But I just hope the next person, it just happens a little bit more organically. But I am also understanding that if somebody's going to get 80 points, like we know it's going to be kind of like a all-star game kind of vibe where you're not really guarding much. And actually Washington was kind of guarding, but the fouls and all that stuff. But, obviously congrats to Bam regardless.
Yeah. And before we kind of get on to the Lakers and next topic, if you had to guess, who's going to be the guy to break it? Like the next person kind of come close to it. Who's your guy you're going with?
I'm sure this was probably asked like the last couple of years, like who's going to come close to 81. And of course, nobody would have said Bam.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go just because of just like the freakishness of him. I don't know if he's going to play like enough minutes in a game, but I would say either Wemby or maybe like a Tatum. Goes crazy.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's cool.
From the outside, but
yeah. I got Luka. I mean, he's done it already. He's had 73. The way he is scoring in the first half of games for this year's Lakers squad, he is averaging 19.7 in the first half.
Damn. Yeah,
he's literally averaging what Bam is in the first half. So he's had, I don't know how many. I feel like there's at least 5 first quarters where he's had 20 plus, at least. He's had a 25-point first quarter. So I feel like that's a player that if he could get to 40 by halftime, like, he's at like 30 something, right? But if he's at like 40, 45, I think he's the type of player that could definitely push the envelope. I think he fatigues in those games a little bit. That's part of it, right? So I think getting into your third and fourth quarter, it's super hard on the body. And that's what Kobe actually said when they asked him after the game, like, what does it look like if somebody tries to pass you, or what does it take to kind of get there? And he's like, dude, physical shape, like the capacity to be in the ultimate shape, because you are tired as hell doing this. And you can tell by Bam, like he's shooting free throws, even though he got fouled so many times, you still got to make free throws. Like, literally, you're at the fourth quarter, end of the game, you played all game, you got to make those free throws. Your arms are tired, whatever it is. So I think Luka would be my guy that it would be close to it.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're not playing guys at the YMCA. I know Washington's not like they're obviously kind of a lottery team, but you're still playing against the guys in the NBA. You got to be in tip-top shape. I'll throw like Ant Edwards in there too, as maybe somebody that could just go crazy, one magical night. But yeah, I don't. We'll see. Is it going to be another 20 years till we see it?
Yeah. Well, if it is, then it's somebody we don't even know yet.
Yes, exactly.
Which is crazy.
The crazy thing is, one little nugget. This is a nice little segue. Who is the one player that was active in the NBA for Kobe and now Bam?
LeBron freaking James.
Pretty insane, right?
That's actually pretty insane to think. I didn't even think about that yesterday, that there's only one player that was in the league. That's crazy. Yeah. Crazy to think about.
Isn't that something? Like, we think of it as so long ago, 20 years, like you just said, it's a player that we don't even know yet. But like, if it was 20 years ago, we were thinking it, LeBron would have already been there. That's pretty crazy.
Cooper Flag still being in the league or something like that at this point. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. There'd be something like that.
But yeah, good segue. So let's get to those Lakers. They are playing a lot better, right?
Mm-hmm.
They beat Minnesota last night and played really well defensively. It was kind of an ugly first half for both teams. That's kind of what those Minnesota games are, though. Minnesota always mucks it up with us. They played really good defense. That's why they are a tough matchup. But this year, we are beating them in the regular season. We're finding ways to win at the end of the games. But what was your reaction to the game, and then just what you saw from the Lakers?
Yeah, I can't. I don't know if like the game against the Knicks or a game against Minnesota is like their best wins of the season, but in terms of like their best two games of the season stretch, I can't find a better spot. Beating a real hot Knicks team and a pretty, semi-hot Minnesota team. And so we know Minnesota was giving us troubles last playoffs. And I know this doesn't mean much when we get into a series with them if it happens. But I was interested to see like if we were going to win, obviously, because one loss means you're only a game up from the 7, which is the play-in. And a win means you're like all up in the mix. So you tie Minnesota, you pass them up, you beat them. The season series is 3-0. So that's important. They own the tiebreaker with them. The game on Saturday against Denver is huge because that one is not only for seeding, like obviously it's a big game, but that is also for the tiebreaker. So the winner of that game gets a tiebreaker.
That'd be huge.
Yeah. So things are good. I mean, obviously the elephant in the room is and we talked about it a couple of days ago. Will this team pick up where they left off not when and if, because he is going to come back when LeBron comes back? And what are you seeing that's different without him?
Eric, I'm going to say something crazy. LeBron has been obviously a staple in this league. I mean, he was there for both Kobe's performance and Bam's performance, right?
Yeah.
He's still playing really, really good this year. There's nothing to fault that. But if I was LeBron James, and I kind of was, sitting back, I watched the first 15 games, how the Lakers were. They were about 11-4. I've watched these last couple games, how they're playing. I see that Lakers are 10-2 with just AR and Luka. Their offensive efficiency is really high in those games. They're actually up to number 6 in the league right now in offensive efficiency. So they're definitely becoming more of a fluid offensive team. If I were him right now, I would volunteer to come off the bench. I know that sounds crazy, and I understand that it's LeBron freaking James. I would say, could you imagine this scenario where he says, you know what? I can start. I can play anywhere. I can start for every single team in this league. But I feel I'm going to make the decision. So it's on his terms. I'm making the decision. I'm going to come off the bench because of the flow of the first unit and the flow of Luka and AR together. I don't want to ruin that. And I'm doing this because I want to win a championship this year. So I think it could be one of those moves that like not only just galvanizes the team, but it makes you just appreciate LeBron James that much more. Like I feel like right now, Laker fans just get rid of LeBron. We can't wait to have this team without LeBron. He should just not play the rest of the season. Obviously, fucking not. Like he's one of our best players. Like he's still a top player in this league. But imagine him making that move, and the Lakers keep winning the way they are. He gets to play with a lineup where it's like, okay, you bring him to be more the point forward. You kind of stagger the lineup a little bit better. Obviously, towards the end of the game, they're all going to kind of mesh together, but it gives more time with those two together on the court. I think that could be the difference on being out in the first round or actually having a long playoff run.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, do you feel, and you answered it, but like, because here's my thing. Like, so if you're going to make a drastic move like that, like it's got to be very significant. I mean, obviously nothing is guaranteed. You can still go out the first round, but it's got to be a move where you feel like there is such a significant difference, because it is asking a lot for someone that has started for 23 years.
Yeah.
And I do agree, though, that if he were to do it, that I don't know if he cares a lot. I know he cares a lot about his legacy. He does. He may not say it, but I really believe it will kind of turn the thought of him right now, because there's a lot of negativity around LeBron. Yeah. I feel like it will do that. Now, if they do that and they go on and miraculously win a championship, like, that's the one caveat is like,
the GOAT. He would be the GOAT if they won a championship, if he made that move.
Do you think, great. Okay. Do you think though, that it's like, oh, well, they won it because it wasn't LeBron. It was.
No, you're putting it in the hands of him, right? So yes, would it be, we already know that this is more Luka's team. That's not a question. Right. I think he already understands that this year. I'm not saying that AR is better than LeBron at this point. I'm just saying the flow of AR and Luka as Batman and Robin is better. But then you get this superstar off the bench that turns your second in unit into just a completely different team. You obviously are still going to play 30 minutes a game. Like he's not going to not play 30 minutes a game. But imagine him coming in and you got him, Kennard, Jackson Hayes running the wing. You keep in Rui, you keep in AR, you keep in one of these two, but you just stagger the Luka LeBron more. I think that's the big difference, is you stagger Luka LeBron versus having them always kind of batting, not butting heads, but it's just more of like allowing them to be the best version of themselves.
Yeah, I mean, this is all hypotheticals. We probably know it's like not going to happen, but we're just throwing it out there because we threw out
we're not coaches. Yep.
Yeah, we threw out the Austin, Reeves maybe coming off the bench. It's obvious that Lakers. Well, I don't want to say obvious. I mean, it just seems to be that Lakers are a lot more active defensively. I think to me that's the big thing without LeBron. Now, with this thought at the end of the day. And you could only hope to be in close playoff games with 5-6 minutes left. If you can get into that, then you'll take it. But what I would be interested to see is like you stagger that, and like how are those 5 to 6 minutes? I'm assuming with your thoughts, like it means that those three will be in the lineup, right, to end games.
Yes. Like towards the end of the game. Yeah, I think they'll be the typical lineup, but I think it's like how you start games, right? How you start the third quarter. Those are huge differences. I think they'll have no issue down the stretch in that type of play because now you've allowed AR to kind of not be that like where he kind of falls out of the rotation a little bit or like out of what he normally is good at. So you allow him to do that more and you allow Luka and AR to kind of bounce off each other because I feel like they flow pretty well when they're in that kind of state. And like you said, I think defensively, their defensive presence with that squad, like as a starting unit, is better. And then just overall, everybody's kind of just being able to fly around. And I think that takes a lot of the pressure off of LeBron, right? Especially with some of these missed defensive assignments and kind of not being able to stay with some of these guys. You're now playing against more second unit guys, right? You imagine him coming in around the 6 minute mark, playing that 6 minute to the end of the quarter, then coming out and then, then some back out and coming back in and playing the next 6, like it looks like it could flow pretty well.
You think, yeah, because I was going to ask if we can kind of do that with him starting, but they've had those options. Cause like I've always been on like, you don't really like potentially don't win or lose games in first quarter. But I mean, for example, a game like Denver, remember like last week, they were down 11-0 or 13-2, something like that.
Yeah. It's big.
I mean, they lost the game right there. They ended up crawling back, but because they were down, they ended up losing it. So yeah, and then those beginning of third. So it's important. I'm just wondering. So for you, it's more like because obviously we can have Reeves come off the bench, but I know there's a lot of thought around that with his contract, everything. But it's more about separating Luka and LeBron. You think?
LeBron. Yeah, now that I watch them more and more and see how they play together, it's more about that separation because I feel like Luka and AR are definitely just 1-2 back and forth. LeBron is just a different type of style because he's so powerful. He still can pass the ball, rebound, do all that stuff, but he's more just like, he's getting to the basket, like power, like more of a power player in that way. And then he kind of settles for threes. Luka and AR are almost like Batman and Robin. They do similar things. They're always trying to create advantage as an offensive player and get fouled, right? So I think that just flows better at this point. So I would like to see a little bit more of the staggering regardless. I know this is something that sounds ridiculous, sounds like I highly doubt will ever happen, but I just can imagine making this move, like how much the image could change for him. And it doesn't mean like next year, if he leaves and goes to Cleveland or he retires or whatever it is, he's not going to start, which he probably could. Like he could start for every team in this league, but it just what a move and what a power play that would be.
Yeah, it's happened with certain players that just a matter of time where you're maybe you're just like for your specific team, you're just better coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Not to say his like numbers and all that are obviously up there with starters, but yeah, I'm just trying to think because like you play like 6 minutes to start the first, so you play 6 minutes to start the third, so that's 12 minutes, and let's say the last 4 minutes of the game, so that is like 16 minutes. Now, I know it's not exactly that, but if the Lakers really stuck to that, because he doesn't always come out of the 6 minute mark. Sometimes it's a little further out. But I feel like if you were like, okay, like that's like 6:12, about 16 minutes in the playoffs, right? Those minutes are gonna come up. I mean, they're gonna start playing 38 to 40 minutes, right? At least Luka and Austin.
He would still play 12 to 18 minutes in a half, right? Because you would do like say come in at 6 minutes. And then he's going to like take probably another couple minute break and then come in and probably play like 9 minutes or something like that. Like in that way, or whatever the fashion it is. And then you're going to still play probably more in the fourth and the third, a little bit more. So he would still be like in that 28 to 32 minute mark, I think. But you also got to remember like we were surprised he didn't come back last game. Like he's dealing with like the aches and pains of being 23 in his 23rd season. Like his body is just not where it needs to be. And if you want to save this body, if you want to allow him to be the best version of himself in the playoffs, you do have to figure it out. You can't just go out there and just play 38 minutes every night. Like, it's not going to happen at this point. And we knew this kind of going into the end of the season in the last 15, 20 games, that this is what's been going on the last 2 or 3 seasons. So I think it would be a way to preserve his body, a way to allow him to get into the playoffs and be able to withstand a 7-game series.
It's compelling. I mean, we know it's a players' league, but if it's all about the team and winning and conserving his body, or player X, if they really, really, truly felt, and the data shows that it would be best doing it this way, it's interesting. Like that it's pretty much like probably not going to happen, but you know what I mean? Like
it's a cool scenario to think about. I know it's a lot, and it would change things. He's never had that. He's never come off the bench, right? He's not been that type of player. It changes his whole routine. Like, you know, he's a routine-based guy. Like that would be, I think, the hardest change he would ever have to make is that's how he's done for 23 years, right? Like, his whole pregame, when he goes, how many hours it is, what is his warm-up, and then all of a sudden he's sitting on the bench for a little bit, right? So that would be different. But man, I feel like it's a way to save his body, and it's a way to actually save this Lakers season. Not that they're having like this worst season that they're having, but in a way to make him more of a legit contender.
Yeah, if only it's like, I feel like it's like it would have been so nice if we had like a lot of this data like coming into the season, and like he obviously misses the first like 13 to 15 games, and then you bring him in as like a bench piece, right? Because he's coming off injury, and then he gets acclimated to this new role, not obviously with 17 games left, and he's used to his routine. So that would be like the one thing like we talked about. But it's a fun hypothetical to talk about. I mean, regardless, Lakers are playing some pretty decent ball. I don't think there's any rush to have him come back. I think they saw the March schedule and realized, damn, they play like every other night. They play a lot of games and some back-to-backs too. And so they're probably trying to kind of buy some time with that as well. Yeah,
for sure. And, you know, obviously they're playing well. They can play Chicago. I highly doubt he play. I mean, maybe he does, but I think giving a little bit more time against Chicago would probably be a good idea. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I highly doubt that anything like that happens, but it's an interesting topic to kind of discuss there.
Hey, if it happens, you heard it here first, so we'll see.
Exactly. All right, so let's get into our final segment, and that's the Steph Curry update on his injured knee that has cost him 15 games in a row. I didn't realize that's been 15 games since he's played. This was an injury that he was trying to make it back from after the All-Star break, and he just hasn't. The pain has been persistent. However, he's going to be reevaluated in 10 days again, so he's going to miss another 5 games. And the only good news that we heard today was that he's progressed to on-court work. The one thing that we heard is that he's had just so many setbacks with this injury of trying to get back because of the pain. So that's the problem when you hear that, because highly likely he's going to be playing with some sort of discomfort at this point in the season.
Yeah.
The Warriors are pretty much set to be in the play-in. There's kind of they're not going to lose to get out of it. There's no way they're going to fall out of it because Memphis is the next one. But there's a chance that they're not a chance that they're going to probably be a top 6 seed, right? I think that would take a lot for them to be that. So I think in general, taking a little bit more time to make sure you can actually have a positive Steph Curry for the play-in, and then ultimately hopefully get to the playoffs is the smart move.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of like flirting with like the 9 seed, and so there's definitely a difference between the 8 and 9, right? Because you get 2 cracks at it if you're the 8, and you could potentially be the 7 seed. So there is some, they're in the play-in for sure. But yeah, obviously, if he was in any kind of shape to for sure be out there and play, I'm sure he would be out there. And so it's pretty tough to see some of these players obviously, last year his season ended with an injury, and this year it's not ending yet. But if they were out of it, it probably would have. And obviously, until we see him on the floor, it's pretty crazy, obviously. And so they'll need him to be as like near as 100% possible to make a series with them and whoever they play. But yeah, it's been a tough grind for the Warriors and Steph Curry, and obviously Butler got hurt, and that changed.
Yeah, it's been a lot. So, yeah, and Porzingis is still obviously not playing, right? So that's gonna be a really hard thing. Like, we don't know exactly what's going to happen. Really haven't got any updates on that. And then the only real team that they're going to be battling the 8-9 is the Clippers, right? I mean, Phoenix is up, I think, 6 games. Yeah, 6 games on the Warriors. So, like, getting to that 7 is likely probably unrealistic. But the Clippers, getting to that 8 would be important. What I see with all this stuff, especially with Steph being injured, LeBron being injured, is that unfortunately this is a young person's league right now. We see it all across the league right now. We got San Antonio Spurs that are just going crazy. We talked about those Clippers going from the oldest team ever to, it seems like, when you look at their lineup, it's a young squad out of nowhere, right? They have these guys playing that you never even heard of. You trade James Harden and get like a Darius Garland, who's obviously younger, and then they have a Kawhi that's playing his best ball he's ever played, or at least averaging the most points he's ever averaged in a season, and being healthy. They are the second best record since December. I mean, stuff like that is remarkable. Obviously, Ty Lue's doing a great job, but what are your sentiments on that? Just that the league has just become so much younger that it's just so much harder for these older guys to kind of keep up.
Yeah, young man's league for sure. I would say like the one player that's kind of quietly just been, knock on wood, healthy, Kevin Durant, right? I feel like he's just been out there every night. And I think he's basically probably the reason Houston is kind of even where they're at, because just the way he's been playing. But yeah, like youth movement is the way to go, obviously. You're so right. I don't know how the Clippers went from like the oldest damn team in history to like all of a sudden like young gunners, and so they obviously picked up some guys, made some trades, drafted pretty well too, with like a big guy, Yannick or whatever his name is. I know he's out, he hurt his foot, but they got some good players and they're doing some good things, obviously. But yeah, it's like obviously OKC, San Antonio, Detroit, like these teams are here, they're young, and it's kind of the youth movement right now.
Yeah, it's crazy to see what the Clippers have done. I mean, they're going to be such a tough out when you think about it, like how great a squad they have like put out there over these last 30 games. They're going to be pesky, right? Like, imagine like OKC having to play Clippers in the AC, or I think even worse, the San Antonio Spurs playing like the Clippers as a 7. I still don't doubt that San Antonio will win that series. I just think it'll be one of those series where like you're probably going 6 or 7 games because of how well the Clippers are playing, and that could put you out easily. Yeah,
I mean they kind of crazy to say, but in that series, Clippers might have the best player, and obviously like a guy like John Collins probably like give Wemby fits and things like that. And so obviously when the time comes, we'll talk about it, but that would actually be kind of a fun series, and I would see San Antonio winning it, as we said, but I could see it going 6 or 7 for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, Eric, before we get out of here, you got anything else to kind of add to the show?
That is it, my friend. Just we'll see if it's going to take another 20 to break Bam's record.
Will there be a player that's still in this league like LeBron James the next time somebody breaks his record? We shall see.
I think that's a pretty crazy thing. Like, I was thinking about it, I think last night. I'm like, damn, that just shows.
It is crazy to think about. But LeBron is that guy. He's obviously the oldest player ever, longest amount of seasons. He's done it all. So, all right,
except be a 6-man.
Ooh, JJ, I hope you're listening.
Except be a 6-man.
All right, Eric. So for the Hoops Rehab show, we are out tonight. We will see you guys soon. Peace out.
Peace out, everyone.